Inflation is out of control, but you don't have to feel like you've lost control. You can take some of that back. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that today, both on the investor side, but also on the personal. We're going to look at a few things today. The first thing I want to talk about is basically the investments that you can get into. You see something going up in price, you can invest in that and sort of offset. And this is something that I talked about in my second book. Now, if you look at the other things, you can get into certain things that you need to buy on a daily basis. Well, what can you do as an individual? Let's break it down right now. Talking about this. This is, by the way, I'm mentioning tickers in this case here, which I never do. However, I'm only highlighting these to give you ideas. Okay, I'm not specifically showing you these particular tickers, but you can start there. United States Commodity Index Fund, USCI. If you see these commodities going up and you believe wholeheartedly that these will go up, then you could start doing your due diligence in these particular ETFs and you look at the certain basic conditions of them. Are they overbought at this time? What's happening with the investments behind them, and so on. We've got this. iShares, S&P, GSCI Commodity Index Trust. GSG is the ticker on that one. Take a look at this as well. Each one has their own different mix. They're just showing you crude oil, natural gas, and other energy commodities make up close to 70% of the exposure. So if you want more of these type of investments within that, you think that those are going to be the best performers, or you think that's the best way to hedge against inflation, you could put your money there. Invesco Optimum Yield Diversified Commodity Strategy, no K1 ETF. Okay, the ticker here is PDBC, and essentially it takes advantage of the futures without the tax hassle of a K1, which some investors avoid. What about timber? You see lumber going up. Remember, it went to 1700. It was way overbought at 1700. Anybody could have been looking at that and said, you know what? I think it's time to sell, or I think it's time to bet on the inverse. One of those ETFs is cleverly named Wood, WOOD. Shipping. My goodness, this has been off the charts. Doesn't necessarily mean it continues in that direction, but there was a way to see these prices rising from 2020 to 2021, as I've been documenting. You could look into that. BDRY, boat is in here. And there are so many others, really, other companies, but these are ETFs, just a couple examples. So that's the investment side of it. And there's a million more. If you want to take advantage in this way, there are certainly ways to do that. I've seen many people do this. Now, these are just other ways to think about it. Many like to think that having a real asset, such as gold and silver, is a way to hedge against inflation. Others believe that real estate is a way to do this. There's something else that I wanted to talk about, because we have power, energy. These things are rising like crazy. What are the steps that you can take? Well, you can get solar panels. If solar panels work well in your area, a lot of times they have tax rebates that you can get. And these are things that people should take advantage of, or at least look into it. So that's one aspect of it. But as I'm showing you here, fixed price products. Now, you can go to your energy company in many cases and agree to fixed terms. So if that price continues to skyrocket, you locked in your contract. Now, this may not be good if prices start to fall, of course, but it all depends on what you believe the future has in store. But inquire, ask about this stuff. Ask what you can do to get out of that contract should you see the prices fall. What would make the prices fall? If we have a reduction in demand, if there is a recession, if there's a reason why, for some reason, we don't need as much energy anymore. But this is multifaceted, of course. And we have this, storable food. Storable food could be something that you buy in big bulk and then you put them in the containers, Mylar bags. You can get any form of basically preparedness right now, I think is pretty wise. But at the same time, what if you just had lots of rice and beans? Okay, you'll eat it anyway. Potentially, it's not something that you need to, buy the specific food preparation, 25-year shelf life type food, which is a good idea. But if you don't, well, you can just buy extra rice and beans or any other preserved type of non-perishable food. And just instead of having, a 2-week supply of it, why not have a 3-month supply of it? Okay, it's just buying now and knowing that inflation is here. And if you believe it's here to stay, you know that 3 months from now, the price is going to be higher. So yes, I have to put more upfront capital, but I'm actually getting a discount on that future price. See how that works? I mean, it's amazing. So these are some of the things that I think people should be looking at. I can't tell you what to do. Other channels out there, they're going to give you the tickers and say, this is the one you got to buy. I'm only showing it to you. I never do that, as you know, but I'm just highlighting that these things exist. I think you should look into them for yourself. And at the same time, simple preparedness or steps that you can take to essentially help yourself, help your family, and your circumstances. If you appreciated this information, all you got to do to support me is to hit that thumbs up button. By doing so, these videos are more likely to end up in your feed as well. Okay? So that's all for this one. I will see you on the next. Take care.